Dreams by Langston Hughes.
Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly.
Hold fast to dreams. For when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow.
What a wonderful poem.
Yeah, it's truly powerful and inspiring.
I completely agree.
But before we start discussing about this poem, why don't we first introduce ourselves? So, hello everyone. My name is Kendra Astra.
I am Renyo Rinyangkau Anaricha.
So before we get into the details of this poem, let's share our initial impression of the poem. Let's start with you first.
At first glance, the poem's language is very direct and easy to understand.
Exactly. Langston Hughes actually uses simple yet powerful words that can make this poem so accessible to everyone regardless of their background or education.
That is right. This simplicity allows readers to grasp its message immediately. Perhaps the reasoning behind this is to enable the poem to live through generation and get inspired regardless of the age or background they are from.
Absolutely. My first impression of this poem was that it encourages readers to hold on tightly to their dreams. Well, it warns that without dreams, life becomes empty and meaningless.
You are not wrong. The poem suggests that dreams represents our goals, hopes, and aspirations, what give our life purpose and direction.
Well, if you look at it, the imagery of the broken winged bird and the barren field frozen with snow clearly symbolizes what happens when dreams are lost.
Yeah, you took my word out of my mouth. The imagery of broken winged bird and barren field frozen with snow symbolizes a life that becomes lifeless, cold, and without growth.
And I reckon that dreams here actually represent our goals that we want to achieve in life. Perhaps they serve as an encouragement to seek freedom, to stand for equality and justice, especially considering Sir Langston Hughes' background.
Yes, there's a strong theme of chasing our dreams here. Langston Hughes reminds us of the importance of perseverance and determination. The importance of chasing our dreams, to keep moving forward, to chase what we want to achieve, or for what we want to fight for in life. The poem conveys that dreams are what drive us forward. Without them, life lacks meaning. Look, the repetition of hold fast to dreams reinforces this idea almost like a reminder to never give up. No matter what the challenges, again, the imagery of broken winged bird that cannot fly, and life is a barren field frozen in snow can be seen in line 3, 4, 7 and 8 respectively, which shows that the consequence of what life could be when dreams are abandoned.
You got a very strong point there. Looking back at this poem structure, this is a ballet poem. Simple, right? It only consists of like 8 lines with 2 quatrains.
Quatrains?
Yes, quatrains. It is 2 stanzas, each consisting of 4 lines of verse and typically having a specific rhyme scheme.
I see. Speaking of the rhythms, I can see rhyme scheme of this poem is A-B, right?
Yeah, spot on again. Do you notice the repetition here?
Yes, of the first line in both stanzas. Hold fast to dreams. This really emphasizes the central message and give the poem a rhythmic, almost musical quality.
Yeah, and since we are looking into the language and imagery, let's see how many language and imagery we can point out. So you mentioned repetition or anaphor, right? What else?
A metaphor.
Hey, no fair. I was thinking about that.
Okay, you can explain it.
Thank you. So, let me start with saying life without dreams is compared to 2 very powerful images. First, we can see in line 3 and number 4, where a broken winged bird that cannot fly. This shows that someone has potential, but that potential is hindered, damaged, or even an inability to fulfill one's purpose. Just like a bird is meant to fly, a life is meant to have dreams. I'll allow you to explain the second one.
If you insist, looking at line 7 and 8 now, a barren field frozen with snow. This evokes a sense of loneliness, coldness, and pain, and maybe even death. There is no growth, no life, and no future potential. This brings me to my next point of symbolism. A few examples I can provide from the poem are birth. The symbolism is the freedom, hope. Next, fear that symbolizes life, fertility, and potential for growth. Last but not least, snow frozen, a common symbol for death, despair, and emotional numbness.
Very interesting. Besides that, I can also think of personification, where dreams are given the human abilities to either die or go. This makes dreams seems like a living entities that must be protected and cared for.
Yeah, that's a great observation. Building on that, you could also say Langston Hughes uses hyperbole, deliberate exaggeration to highlight how vital dreams are. When he writes that if dreams die, life becomes a broken wing bird or a barren field frozen with snow. He is not being literal, but showing how hopeless and empty life can feel without dreams.
Wow, I really like how you put that. Maybe that sense of desperation that you've mentioned also appears in his diction. The word fast in hold fast is a very powerful choice, which implies a firm, almost like desperate grip, as it forces despair or hardship or reality that are trying to pull away those dreams. But sorry, before we continue, may I ask, why did you mention death?
Okay, let me interpret. I mentioned death because a barren, snow-covered field symbolizes the complete absence of life. In nature, snow often represents a period where plants cannot grow and everything becomes still. So, in the context of the poem, if dreams are abandoned, life becomes lifeless, without direction, progress, or hope. It is as if the person's inner purpose has died. I recall you mentioned Langston Hughes' background earlier. Perhaps we can look at the poem itself and the experiences that shape his writing. It might help us to understand this poem more deeply.
Of course. So let me start with saying Sir James Mercer Langston Hughes, better known as Langston Hughes, that we've been mentioning his name, was actually born on the 1st of February 1901. He was an American poet and a central figure of the Harlem Renaissance.
Harlem Renaissance?
Yes, Harlem Renaissance. It is a cultural movement that celebrated black creativity and identity. Here, Langston Hughes was known for his powerful and inspiring writings that uplifted the African Americans during a period of deep racial and social challenges.
I've done my research and found that Langston Hughes also made history by being one of the first black students to live in his university dormitory. Growing up during segregation and this discrimination deeply influenced his outlook on life and shaped his artistic voice. Thus, he became widely recognized for portraying the real struggles, dreams, and everyday experiences of black communities.
No wonder. Now we can see the actual inspiration for this poem.
Yeah.
In fact, Dreams is actually one of his earlier works, yet it carries a timeless message to us. It's a straightforward but powerful reminder for readers to never let go of their personal aspiration. If you realize the repetition of the word dreams is there instead of replacing it with them, this actually highlights how central dreams are to the poem, as that is indeed the main theme. And now that you mention it, I've just realized structurally it's made out of two short stanzas with a balanced rhythm, right? Don't you think this resembles the wings of a bird? This subtle structure actually connects the idea of freedom and dreams, suggesting that dreams gives us the power to soar like a bird out of its cage.
That's a really creative interpretation. Hughes suggests that giving up on one's dream is like giving up on life itself. Through this, he sends a universal message about the importance of hope, perseverance, believing in one's purpose. And when we consider Hughes' background, the meaning deepens. The dreams also represents the collective hope of African Americans, for equality and justice. During the Harlem Renaissance, these dreams of freedom was shared by an entire community. If this dream were lost, it would be like a broken wing bird full of potential but trapped by oppression.
Again, with the mention of birds. The first stanza presents the image of a broken winged bird that cannot fly. This represents people who have lost their dreams or their ability to move forward, to be free or to reach their full potential, as you say, trapped by oppression. Just as a bird who is meant to fly, a person is meant to dream.
Also, in the second stanza, the word barren becomes very significant. Barren means empty without life or growth. The words frozen and snow intensify this sense of hopelessness, reflecting the emotional and the spiritual coldness that comes from giving up on dreams. Snow here symbolizes despair and stagnation.
Wow, now I can see it in another perspective. Altogether, Langston Hughes' dreams was on two levels. First, it can be said for our generation as a personal advice to us, telling us to never ever abandon our aspiration. And second, perhaps it can be said as a social or political message to this generation, encouraging them as a whole to never lose hope despite the injustice and struggles that they faced.
Exactly. The repeated call, hold fast to dreams, acts both as a personal motivation and as rallying cry for perseverance. It reminds us that dreams are what give meaning, life, and purpose to life. To sum up, Langston Hughes' dreams urge everyone to hold tightly to their goals and hopes, no matter the obstacles. Without dreams, life becomes empty, a barren, fear-frozen with snow.
Yeah, and with dreams, it shows life could gain warmth, freedom, and even direction.
So, let us all remember, hold fast to dreams.
Yeah, that is all from us, so thank you.
Thank you.